Hello everybody, here's my 2020 Nissan Altima, and today we're going to give it its first oil change. First thing I did is securely set the parking brake. Okay, we're going to start by jacking the car up and putting some jack stands underneath it. Now let's take a look and see where we're jacking from. If you look, you can see right here, there's a nice piece of subframe that comes down and you can see extends down, and then coming out from it, you can see there's a lot of stiff, strong subframe coming out here, which is a nice, safe place to jack the car up. Okay, you can see the jack stand is securely up against the frame. Make sure that it's not going to slip off. Check the feet, make sure that they're nice and level. On the other side, it's on the jack stand, and just for an extra safety measure, I still have the jack in here, so if anything bad happens, the jack will be there to catch it. Looking under the hood, we can see our dipstick. We can see the oil filler cap, and I'm just going to pull up the dipstick a little bit to make sure that it's not, the O-ring isn't sealing up there, so the oil will drain a little bit better. Okay, you can see I got 5 quarts of 0W20 full synthetic motor oil, an oil filter, and these are 8mm body clips. Now, I bought a package of hundreds of these things on Amazon for like $8, or maybe actually it's less than $8. So those things are consumable and they break off, and you're probably missing some already. So getting 100 of them is a great idea. Whenever I work under a car, I don't like just laying on cement, so I always put down a layer of cardboard to work on, always much more comfortable. Okay, here we are looking at the bottom of the car, and we notice underneath the engine is this big body pan, and it has the 8mm body clips all over the place. You notice I got a couple that are missing. Even though this is a fairly new car, these things seem to fall out pretty easily. And the only other thing we have to worry about is there's a 10mm bolt here and a 10mm bolt here. And so we take out the bolts and the body clips, and we get rid of this underpan so that we can access the bottom of the engine. So looking at the body clip, let's take a good look at that. You just take like a little screwdriver, and pry up, pull it, and then it comes out. Here's what the body clip looks like after it comes out. And we just press in and it locks, and then we pull out, unlock. So you'd be real careful with those things. Okay, I took out all the body clips and the 2 bolts. We got the belly pan hanging out. Came out very easily, and now we can see the bottom of our engine. Let's take a look at this for a second here. Well, one thing we can see is the oil filter is really nice and easy to get to once you have that belly pan off. And right next to the oil filter is the engine here, and you can see this black oil drain plug, and that's where our engine oil is. And let's not get confused about the transmission, because there's a transmission drain plug over here, and we're not going to be doing that for a long time. Okay, I got my oil drain pan ready, and I've got a 14mm wrench here. And we're going to take this bolt off, drain the oil. It was not very tight. It was not super tight. Oh man, that really comes out pretty far. Make sure your oil pan is kind of over. It kind of overshot it for a second. Okay, once the oil's all done draining, you put the bolt back in, and then you tighten her up and get it to where it's nice and snug, but don't go crazy. You don't want to be damaging the threads. Now it's time to take the oil filter off. Now this is such a small oil filter, I don't have an oil filter wrench this size, so I'm going to try to do it by hand, but you may have to buy an oil filter wrench that'll fit such a small oil filter. Oh man, uh-oh. Let's try paper towel. Oh my gosh. Oh, oh crap. is not coming off. Now there are other options, like there's an old school trick where you take a screwdriver and smash it through there, and then you turn it that way. But I'm going to see about getting better grip on this thing. Well, I do have a 17-inch channel lock, and I tell you, this is one of the most useful tools I've ever purchased. And this is not the correct way. I really apologize for this. I wanted to show the proper way, and the proper way is I would have had an oil filter wrench that was the exact same size as that oil filter, but this is going to have to do. There it goes. That cracked it. Okay, now that's loose, I can do it by hand. There we go. It's all going in the pan. Yeah, very nice. Okay, now we just wipe up all the mess. Nice clean paper towel. And then on our new oil filter, they always suggest you get a little drop of oil on the end. And just make sure the gasket's a little bit wet with oil so that it doesn't tear when we put it on. Now the instructions on the oil filter say to let it go to where it just seats and then do one turn. So it just seated. I'm going to do, oops, no, it didn't seat. Okay, put it on until it just seats. Okay, just barely seated. And now we have to do one full turn. There we go. And that's pretty darn tight. I don't want to put it on too much tighter. Okay, now it's time to put the belly pan back on. And what I did is I started with the two 10mm bolts, just to get it started. And then we'll just put all the body clips in, and this thing will be all in. Okay, we're lowered the car back on solid ground. Now it's time to put the new oil in. So we know where the oil filter cap is. Put a funnel in here, and now we'll just pour it in. The oil's all in there. Survey says, there it is, almost all the way to the full mark. So now I put a funnel in the top of the empty oil bottle and fill it all up with the remaining oil and put it in the garbage for proper landfill disposal. Okay, now we turn on the ignition, press the buttons, until we get to settings. Go down to maintenance, press OK. We'll try oil and filter. We'll click reset. We'll go back. And what's this oil control system? Let's try this. Okay, we'll do this one for reset too. Okay, let's go back. Well, it looks like we're all set.